that this had popped up, and it was quite random, if you will. I mean, again, these deals happen, right? And in every other situation, I think the Dak Prescott, and we talked about it last week, Adam Schefter and how he released the Brandon Aiyuk deal. Was that the same as how he normally releases deals? He had something to say about Dak Prescott. He said something, the wait is over or something like that, or on the first day of the NFL. But all this stuff that keeps coming out about the Brandon Aiyuk situation, I'm just not really sure why it's coming out, or why the dirty laundry in this deal continues to come out, where you just don't hear about this stuff. I mean, we know contract negotiations can get sticky, but we do not hear about the drama in other situations the same way we've heard about this. So we have Jay Glazer here, and this is basically him just randomly breaking news on a day where the team don't even play. They didn't even play yesterday, and I wake up and it's prime time, and this is Jay Glazer on the Brandon Aiyuk situation.
How about this? We're calling this the inside scoop. How's this first scoop that nobody knows? The day it actually got done, the 49ers were trading him to the Pittsburgh Steelers. It was already en route there. And then all of a sudden, Brandon Aiyuk happened to show up early to the facility that day, went downstairs, trying to meet with Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan was trying to get in touch with the front office, but they couldn't take his call because they're trying to get the trade done to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So Shanahan actually ran all the way upstairs, said, hold this. Let's put a hold on these trade talks right now. Pittsburgh will call you right back. They went down and talked to Aiyuk for about 2 hours. And they said, look, you have until the end of practice. We're either trading you to Pittsburgh today, or you could take the deal that's been on the table. It's up to you, but you have till the end of practice. He says, this is where I want to be. Brandon Aiyuk remains a 49er.
That's crazy, though. I mean, that is crazy. Kyle Shanahan running up the stairs because they were too busy on the phone with the Steelers. And now I'm confused because I wonder if the Niners had said uncle, because all the reports were that they wanted a wide receiver. So I wonder if that was, I don't know if it was going to be Pickens. If you're the Steelers, it feels like you'd want to keep that tandem, especially when you're dealing with Russell Wilson, who was in pads, by the way, even though he was inactive and he was getting clowned on, because it was a very Russell Wilson thing to do, to just sit there in pads when you're not even active. But, having either Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, it feels like you need to get those guys as many weapons as possible. So it feels like it wouldn't have been Pickens. So I would venture, and knowing the Niners, we'll probably find out what the patch is going to be, or was going to be, next week. But yeah, the idea of Kyle Shanahan running up the stairs and Brandon Aiyuk and them just putting their foot on the table and saying, look here, Aiyuk, it's over. You're either going to the Steelers or you're taking this deal. And Aiyuk, I had said that he was probably waiting for the Commanders, and that is not source. That is just myself thinking, hey, what else could he be waiting for at this point? Once it came out that deal had been on the table for a couple weeks now, and everybody's acting like, well, the Niners, they did their job. It was still in August, so let's pump the brakes there. So I thought they were waiting for the Commanders to make this deal. But yeah, that would have been something else, because look, Steelers, Justin Fields was Justin Fields, and Russell Wilson, I don't know what he would have looked like, but they find a way to get a W, so good for them. I think they still ultimately are going to need something else, especially in that division, and they don't have it right now. So it's going to be tough for them to get over that 5 or never having a losing season hump, and to actually be contenders. I think the Steelers have gotten to the point where I just don't know that they're in Steel Town. People care about, getting to the playoffs, where everybody knows. Chris and I talk a lot about the grindhouse Grizzlies, right? With Zebo and the crew, and how they can, and it's not just them. They always just stick in my mind. But a lot of these teams, and you could liken them to the Vikings as well, right? I mean, you can get to the playoffs, but nobody is afraid of you. You're not even a dark horse pick. You're not even a spicy dark horse pick. So I don't know what the Steelers are going to do there. But getting back to the Niners, yeah, I'm not really I don't know why this stuff keeps coming out. And Jay Glazer, who, if I'm not mistaken, I don't feel like I see Jay Glazer breaking a ton of stuff. So for Jay Glazer to just randomly throw that out. Yesterday was pretty wild. You also had and this went a little bit viral for me on social media. You also had a special. So Alex Smith, who did a great job, Alex Smith did a special on basically having the two quarterback situation where there's one older quarterback, there's a younger quarterback, and they're kind of battling it out to see who's going to be who. So in having that conversation, right, or in having that conversation, it was a special that they aired during what is NFL Live or whatever it is, NFL kickoff before the games. In having that open, Drew Bledsoe was featured. So Drew Bledsoe was featured on it, and this guy has basically been taken out of a job, very kind of similar to Alex Smith. Drew Bledsoe has lost his job twice, right? So the first time he talks about Tom Brady and how he lost his job to Tom Brady, but Tom Brady, these guys that are young, they have all these questions to ask, and they feel good about talking to the older QB as mentors. And even after Tom Brady became the starter, he still acted like that. He then goes on to say, Drew Bledsoe, hey, straight up, and we'll get that sound for you. He then straight up says to Tony Romo, and Tony, if you're watching, that wasn't the case. We actually have the sound, so I don't need to paraphrase it. Let's hear how it sounded. It's pretty funny.
Parcells made the decision to yank me at halftime of a game and throw Romo in there. Really didn't agree with that one. If you're watching this, Romo, this is true. The minute that he became the starter, he became pretty big in his own mind. And he was no longer the curious, inquisitive guy. Where that was the difference between him and Tommy. Tommy became the starter. He still was asking all the questions where all of a sudden Romo was the guy that had all the answers.
Wow. Did not have that on my bingo card on the first day of the NFL season, of the full slate of NFL games. But yeah, so it was spicy all day. Did not expect there to be random drama when there were so many games going on, but that's the NFL. They're going to find a way to stay relevant on top of the relevancy of having a ton of games, because why not? Coming up next, we will get that good football sound, football music going. It is time for the NFL Blitz. Let's go around the NFL, the headlines, who won, who lost, and everything in between. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The only